The iMac Pro was a very welcomed little surprise at WWDC. No one was really expecting it. There were rumors that Apple was going to be unveiling a new iMac at the end of the year. I was not expecting them to unveil it so soon, but I'm glad they did. And then, of course, there's that other rumor that they're unveiling a completely redesigned modular Mac Pro in 2018. The second I saw this, if you were watching my live stream, you realized I was like, I feel like they're building this for MKBHD. He's been saying Apple's not been treating the Pro market like it used to, and Apple feels sorry that they've neglected that Pro Mac user market so much. Marcus wants USB-C, he wants space gray. They do exactly that, and then what does he respond with? Is it a trick? Ugh. Can you be a little more grateful? They're doing this for you. They're probably not watching my videos, but they're definitely watching yours. I mean, you interviewed them, for God's sake. I'm not trying to throw shade at people, I'm just saying, I think the iMac Pro is great. I don't think it's a trick. Here's why. So this incredibly pro device for Apple has a very high starting price, higher than that of the regular Mac Pro, which I understand a lot of people think this is confusing now to have a Mac Pro and an iMac Pro, though I think it's pretty apparent that the key difference between an iMac and a Mac is you got that little eye on the front, it means it's an all-in-one. Yes, the Mac Pro is older and cheaper, but it doesn't come with a display, doesn't even come with a keyboard and mouse, and the starting storage selection is 256 gigabytes, which back when the Mac Pro came out, I wasn't interested in buying it because it was just insanely expensive at the time for me, but I remember thinking, really, you're gonna spend $3,000 on something with 256 gigs of storage? That seems a little ridiculous. So I'm really glad that the base model iMac Pro, while it is fairly expensive, has a terabyte of solid state, and it's very, very fast solid state as well. I thought it was very surprising that they kept the original USB port on this. They kept 4 of those ports. So yes, they've adopted 4 Thunderbolt 3 USB-C ports on the back, but they kept all that traditional USB 3.0, and it feels like something that Apple really wouldn't do on something like an iMac. Given on the MacBook Pro, they ditched all kinds of ports they probably could have put on there, but I thought they were trying to tell everyone, you know, this is the future, here's the way things are going, we want everyone to move towards USB-C, but with the iMac Pro, I guess not. They kept the SD card slot, they kept the Ethernet port, they kept the headphone jack. Kind of the first time in a while that the iMac actually has more ports now than it did before. And now the big complaint MKBHD was saying was that none of this is very upgradable. Before on the iMac, you could upgrade the RAM if you wanted to, and even now, with their 21.5-inch 4K iMac, you can change the processor and the RAM, of course, if you know what you're doing. But with the iMac Pro, it's going to be fairly difficult to upgrade the internals, and people are saying they're just trying to get you to buy that even though the Mac Pro is coming out right after it. Pay very close attention here, because I think it's a little bit silly to be comparing a product that's not yet out, it's coming out in 6 months, and be comparing it to a product that's likely not going to be out for another 2 years. Yes, Apple is working on a redesigned modular Mac Pro. Craig and Phil talked to the press about this. They said that they are returning to the pro user market, and given sources we have from Mac Rumors, it says that this program of redesigning the Mac Pro just began a couple weeks after they made that statement, which honestly was not that long ago. This means that predictions on that actual release date for the Mac Pro are likely going to be late 2018, so a year and a half from right now, and that's if our chances are good. These standalone projects from Apple take a long time, and since the Mac Pro is not going to sell as crazy as iPhones do, it's not a priority for Apple. Apple's not going to have a hard time delaying it, and it also probably means that the R&D department, the people they have on staff working on this modular Mac Pro, are extremely limited, because this is like 0.1% of the revenue of the company. We all get excited for it, but revenue-wise, customer share-wise, this is not an important thing for Apple. You should consider the fact that they're making Pro desktops as essentially them doing us a favor, because they're gonna make so little off of this. Yes, it's $5,000, and it'll probably go up to $13,000. We ran a Twitter poll on what people thought the iMac Pro maxed out would cost. That's my guess. Something insane like that. But the thing is, they sell so little of them that the profits they're gonna get off of it are going to be minuscule compared to the Apple Watch, the iPad, the iPhone. That's their top priority. So I believe that it's far more likely we're not going to see that modular Mac Pro until 2019. And typically we don't have keynotes unveiling Macs at the very beginning of the year because they want things to be out in the winter. That's when people are buying stuff for the holidays. You don't want to do a January release or even a March release for something like that. Maybe an unveiling, but I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put money on this. WWDC 2019 is when you'll see the modular Mac Pro, not 2018. I think this is so far off. They're trying to put so much new technology in it. They're completely rethinking it. And again, it's not a top top priority. Apple's worried about the Galaxy Note 8 right now. They don't really care about the Surface Studio. This isn't a big portion of their company. So to me, the iMac Pro is not a trick to get you to spend a bunch of money right before they unveil something even better. To me, this is a placeholder. It means that the iMac Pro is going to be the most powerful Mac through 2018 and through the first half of 2019, perhaps even longer. Typically, when they announce that they're working on new projects, I've never once heard in the story them going, "Hey, that was easier than I thought. We're already done. That was great. Guess we'll slap a for sale sign on it and see what we can get." No, that never happens. Whenever they announce a project and said it'll probably come out here, it's usually a year after that. That's why I think Apple is putting all of this emphasis and making sure that the iMac Pro is a very pro device, because it's going to be what's carrying all of us Pro users who want something new. All of the Mac Pro users now that feel outdated, they want a new desktop that is going to be current with, you know, fast solid state drives and big solid state drives like the 4 terabytes. They want something that's going to handle VR, and this does, with very, very powerful GPUs and incredibly intense processor chips with 18 cores. They're going to make sure that this iMac Pro is going to be current, and it's going to be a monster powerhouse for 2, 3, 4 years, because they want to give themselves plenty of buffer time between now and when the modular upgraded Mac Pro comes out, which will likely be, as I said, halfway through 2019. That's my bet. I don't think we're going to see it next year at all. So I, for one, really want an iMac Pro, but like many of you, it is insanely expensive, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to afford it when it comes out. I'd love to review it to you guys, but whether or not I'll actually unbox it and review it, and if I do, it's going to be the cheapest one. It's going to be the $5,000 one. Don't expect me to get 18 cores or 4 terabytes, 128 gigs of RAM. That's not going to happen. If we're lucky, and if this channel grows and you continue to share, super chat, donate on Patreon, buy merchandise, and this channel grows and has a ton of subscribers by December, maybe it'll happen. Maybe we'll have the money to review it, but that is quite a purchase, so I'm not going to count on it. I'm not going to say, yes, I'm definitely buying it, but I am going to say if the channel's doing pretty well, I would certainly like to. If there's any rich fans out there, if you want to send one to me, please. I'll take the maxed out one. Also, I'm thinking if I do buy it, I'm going to get the Magic Trackpad 2 and the Magic Mouse in Space Gray. That way I can sell one of them for a very high price, given those are exclusive to the iMac Pro. That'll help cover the cost. Someone's gonna pay $1,000 for a black Magic Trackpad, right? Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't, but there's sheep out there. I know you Instagram posters who buy like ceramic Apple Watches because it matches your AirPods super well. I don't know. I want an iMac Pro, okay? That's a given, but whether or not we'll get there, we'll see. Let me know all your thoughts on the iMac Pro. I think it's really great. I think it's going to be the cream of the crop of the Mac lineup for the next couple of years before the new Mac Pro, and I'm really excited to see it in person. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.